On this special episode of Making Sense of Ourselves, we want to bring you the voices of our discussion leaders from the Sensemakers Club.
I'm Susan Quick. I go by she, her pronouns.
I'm Joe Elmendorf, and I use he, him.
Why did you decide to become a leader at the Sensemakers Club?
Joe and I had talked on occasion about the ideas of modeling and mindfulness, how there was some pretty apparent overlaps. Bumped into a few ways that we might explore those overlaps, whether it was working together on projects or modeling the overlaps themselves, or just kind of toying around with this idea of exploring these two practices. And then Joe approached me and said, I've got this friend, Abby, who's starting this discussion club. What if we took this idea of mindfulness and modeling and used it as a discussion topic and got to kind of explore this idea of the connectivity or overlap between the two with other people?
I had this, what I thought was a wild idea, and about how these concepts of and practices of mindfulness and modeling were connected, and we weren't really sure what to do with it. Is it even real? Is this how do you develop something that felt so esoteric and weird as the overlaps between a practice of mindfulness and a practice of modeling? And so the opportunity to be a discussion leader came up, and I thought, well, that'll force the issue. We'll see if there's a there. Yeah, so it was mostly let's try it and see what happens.
Tell us about your topic. What was the most recent discussion about?
With Joe, we are co-discussion leaders for the modeling and mindfulness, making sense of modeling and mindfulness. Yeah, it's an exploration of these two practices, being mindful and modeling in as an information architect or in the design world, as UX professionals do. And so as we bring what we know about these two practices together, you kind of find that what you learn about a new concept is sort of grounded in your understanding of an existing concept that makes sense to you. So we're sort of pitting mindfulness against modeling and sort of looking to understand more deeply about each of the practices.
Our most recent discussion was focusing on what it's like to engage in modeling and mindfulness with others. So not just a solo activity. We started off by talking about what was an interaction that you remember recently. I think we said it was, what's a text that you got recently that made you feel good? I'd like to start with just kind of a on-topic icebreaker like that. And as we listened, it was like, oh, every one of these is someone is being noticed for something that they did or who they identify as. That part of them is being noticed. That's really interesting.
What has surprised you about leading this topic?
In the most recent discussion that we had, the most surprising thing was that common theme that showed up between everyone's answer to their icebreaker, that there was this feeling of being noticed that was generating a good feeling.
I've been pleasantly surprised that there hasn't been a lot of blank stares or discord in this. I wasn't sure what it was going to be like when we started this discussion group as a whole, but every week it's like, oh, wait, okay, I'm not alone in thinking about this stuff.
Where do you hope to push your topic in the future?
So I have this little queue of ideas that have come from not looking back and wishing we would have done, but looking forward, okay, now we've got months ahead of us. Here are some things we could talk about next. I'm wondering about curiosity as a technique. A lot of times in therapy, instead of maybe a more negative reaction to an event happening, your therapist might encourage you to get curious about something instead of having a negative, or after you have the negative response, then can you revisit that and get curious about it? What does it mean to get curious when thinking about being mindful and when thinking about modeling. And then also this idea of choices, making choices. What are you doing when you're choosing to be mindful? There's a floodlight of awareness experience that you have to choose from, and you have to narrow it to like a flashlight's worth of attention to focus. And so in modeling, there's just something similar going on. Like you can't when you're making a map, you can't model the entire territory. You have to choose just roads, just topography, just water, just elements of that map are choices that you make. So what does it mean to make choices when creating models, when being mindful? How do you know the choice you've made is the right one? How do you go about that choosing activity? How do you evaluate the choice that you've made after you've made it? All types of things to uncover, I think, when it comes to choices.
I think I've always wanted to do, and part of the genesis of this group was I imagined it as a way to kind of develop or point out practical skills or tools or ways to develop those two practices, mindfulness and modeling. You know, this is probably one of the only places where most of us get to talk about the impractical or just more theoretical ways that we think and the ways that we see these patterns work out. And so I don't know if that's why we keep having more theoretical conversations, and we really enjoy that. But I think we will. I would like to explore the practical ways that we can increase our skills in being mindful and our skills in modeling, because they're really valuable.
What other groups have you participated in?
I have attended other discussion groups, in the AI discussions, the managers who make sense, and also questions that make sense. And if I think about what drew me to those particular discussions, I am also not an information architect, and I didn't necessarily find it interesting or relevant for the job that I do to participate in like research or things that are specific to what might be specific to an information architect. But I certainly find I would identify as a question asker in my job, or someone who is good at that particular skill and interested in talking with other people who are curious about what makes a good question. And then managers who make sense. Being I own a business, I sit on a leadership team at my job, and have found myself in management type of roles. I felt connected to that topic. So it was easy to feel a sense of belonging when I joined that discussion.
I've primarily participated in, I think, the AI group, the ethics group, and the seekers who make sense. I like the more theoretical groups. I found myself drawn to that because I don't have those questions. I don't have those conversations elsewhere, really. Like this is a kind of a unique community, and I see a lot of the folks who attend the mindfulness and modeling session also attend some of those other ones, and so I feel like there's like a subset of us who really enjoy these kinds of conversations, and I suspect that they probably also don't get to have as many of those conversations outside of the club as they'd like, and so really relying on the club for that mental stimulation.
What do you hope to see as the club grows?
I hope that it grows, because I think this is something that is really powerful. And I want more people to be able to experience what it's like, and what a group of people who have similar interests, where the safety is created to show up and not have to be right and just kind of participate. And so, as it grows, I hope that it's still, it maintains that small, safe feel so that folks can show up and be themselves and feel seen.
I'm not sure I have a whole lot more to add to that. I appreciate what Abby's doing, and I trust that she has both the vision and the execution skills to make that vision a reality. I mean, she's done it so far with this. She talks about this. This was an idea I had. This was a realization I came to when I stopped going to conferences and recognized this area of my life is now missing because I'm not doing this thing. Can I recreate it here virtually in the way that I want? And yes, I can. She did it. And so as it appears to me that she's able to, like we do in the world I grew up in of software development, as an agilist, you're constantly inspecting and adapting. And she seems to be taking a similar approach with this club, always looking to see how's it going, what are we doing, what's working well, what's not working, what can we change, what can we add on, in an iterative kind of fashion. I trust that she will continue to do that, and my hope is that I get to stick around and see where it goes. So I am not the visionary that will help Abby think of the next big thing, but I would love to be and continue to be a part of what it is she wants to create, because she's got a good thing going, and it's going well so far, and I'd love to help her make it be what she wants it to be next.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
The way that I think and the way that I see the world makes me feel alone a lot of times, kind of in my thoughts and my perspective, either because I can't express my thoughts very well, or the people around me don't get what I'm saying or don't care about those kinds of things. And so just learning and remembering that first time we had our mindfulness and modeling session, and just being in disbelief at how many people were thinking the same kinds of things that Suzan and I were talking about, and that I didn't have to explain it. Like they already had it and were thinking those things on their own. It just felt so good. So learning that there are other people who think about these things, that care about these things, that are looking to talk more about them.
I think it's the learning on my part is more of an opportunity to experience what it's like to lead a group of people. And I've been a consultant almost my entire career, where you show up and you are seen as the expert, and you're there to show everybody else what to do. And in this way, with this discussion, it wasn't that. We were bringing a topic to a group of people that we wanted to know more about by talking about it, and learning from other people as they reflected answers to questions we were prompting. So it was unlike any other group facilitation or group dynamic that I had ever been exposed to from my job. And just the personal growth that came from knowing it's okay to guide a group of people around a topic that you're not the expert in, but you're there to learn together. It's a pretty powerful experience. And because we had the freedom to choose what it was we were going to do in these discussions, this idea of running a guided meditation I love it. I love participating in other guided meditations that other people are doing, or I'm the recipient. But here, I get to do it. I get to try out this thing I've never done before. There's nowhere else that would have felt like a comfortable thing for me to try out. So I've absolutely loved the creative license that Abby created with this group and gave to us. It's been an amazing gift. Super enjoyed it. I feel like it's been a personal growth experience for me, and a learning experience about like things I was capable of doing and didn't know I was capable of it until I tried it.
Thanks for listening to this special episode of Making Sense of Ourself. We'll be in your feed once a month with longer episodes featuring myself, Abby Covert, and Althea Lowe. And we're trying to do these episodes with discussion leaders on a fairly regular basis. Thanks for listening, and until next time, be clear.